Sweet. Are we on? So there we go. Finally. Okay, now I see us on YouTube. We're here, guys. Finally. I'm so sorry it took us a minute to get here. Well, of course you did. No. It's as long as we're online. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us? Can you see us? Just want to check in, make sure everything's functioning okay for you guys.
Real quick here for them.
And if it is,
there we go. All right, hey guys. So.
I'm looking for comments.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys, and waiting for us. So.
There we go. There we go. Ethan, not surprisingly, we had a community content warning just the other day, yesterday, the day before. So we're starting off the year like we finished the last year, in trouble with Facebook. So it is what it is. It's fine. You know, we are a cannabis destination point.
Yes.
We're a destination point for medical cannabis users and their caregivers. We have a private group on Facebook, but we have just recently moved our live stream broadcast to YouTube, which are now open to the public. So if you are watching us for the first time, hey, hi, how are you?
Welcome.
Happy New Year. Thanks for being with us. We're glad you're here.
And honestly, I think the reason I had a little trouble was I was getting ready to do, we're going to teach how to make gummies tonight. And I'm kind of excited about that.
And yesterday was an unfortunate cycle of Vicodin and Anbesol.
Hey, you got to do it.
Inside of two teeth over here on this side. I and Holly and I talked today because I didn't think I was going to be able to do this tonight. Because I have a failed back surgery 5 years ago, whatever, I still have Vicodin and Percocet and morphine. I have all that stuff from my surgery. So when I get pain of any kind that's bad enough, I'll break a Vicodin in half and take it.
Right.
And I did that yesterday twice, and then I did an entire full Vicodin before I went to bed. And so I had a lot of Vicodin. Uncomfortable day. Yeah, I had an uncomfortable day yesterday and didn't sleep well. But, you know, between the Vicodin, the Anbesol, and gargling in salt water, I got whatever was in that tooth out.
Good.
And it calmed down last night while I was sleeping. So tomorrow I have an appointment with an oral surgeon, and we're going to talk about, at bare minimum, taking out these two right here because they're shot beyond.
Well, and you mentioned you bit on them funny, so I mean, it's a ticking time bomb.
Well, and I'm one of these people who had a really, really traumatic first dentist experience as a kid. And so that kind of colored my dental care for life.
Sure.
And so I've always neglected my teeth, and I've only gone to see someone when something was causing enough pain that it had to be cut out.
Right.
I have anxiety and all kinds of pain issues, so I always have sedation when they take teeth out.
And I think a lot of people do that, honestly.
Well, I admire my wife. She was here watching over the curtain a minute ago, but I admire my wife, and a lot of people like her who can tolerate dentistry.
But you mentioned you had a bad experience. I mean, shout out to Dr. Mitchell, who was like my first major dentist when I was younger, because he was great about making sure you were comfortable, telling you, a kid even, what he was doing. And I mean, so it meant a lot to me. I'm not afraid. I'd go in without any kind of Twilight. I'm like, what? Does that cost more? Oh, don't even bother then. I'll just go to my Zen place for 2 hours, whatever.
Right. So your first dental experience was probably many years after mine.
Well, yes.
I still see my first dental experience in black and white, like it's a fucking horror movie.
Sure.
So, and I remember him working on a tooth and grinding,
right.
And me being uncomfortable and flailing around.
Oh,
like,
of course.
Ah,
right.
Mom, help, Mom, Dad, somebody,
Sure.
And there was no one came, and I was trapped, and
it's a little different when it was done in the 80s as how it, seriously, I think they learned a lot.
This was in the 60s, I'm sure. I mean,
it's different. It really is.
Yeah,
you're not the only one I've heard this from, and people who are like my age or younger tended to have a more positive experience. I mean, he had like, some dentists have fish in their waiting room. They have the magazines. I liked going to the dentist, but it was different. And I mean, we can say the same thing about our doctor experiences, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna share the one funny story because my wife would want me to share it because that's the last time I had dental work done.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad tooth pulled under surgery. They put me to sleep.
right.
Blah blah blah. Give me the shot. So I'm in recovery now, and the nurse walks by in passing. She's busy. And she sits an envelope, a little paper envelope, brown manila envelope, down on the little thing I'm sitting on, and says, she said more than this, in all fairness, but in my coming out of the anesthesia state, all I heard was, here's your balls. So she put cotton balls in a envelope beside me. Here's your cotton balls. All I heard was balls. And I'm like, I'm high as balls.
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just had a tooth pulled. What the hell are my balls doing in here?
What happened? Oh my God.
Say it loud.
They were referring to cotton balls. Not your balls, not your
So,
but your cotton balls protected too.
the cotton balls.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that was the last time I had dentistry done. 2012.
Right.
Anyway, so we tried to get in today. That was the whole plan. I was going to get in today.
Good luck.
And have these two bad boys pulled. And that wasn't going to happen. So my appointment's tomorrow at 11. And fortunately, I've not really had a lot of pain today.
Good.
So I'm okay to, tomorrow we'll go deal with this.
Sounds like a plan. I mean, you got to get in when you get in. I'm just glad you're not in as much pain. Yeah, sorry about my focus.
It was the pain was so bad yesterday. It was ugly. And with that as a background, I really didn't expect to be able to talk tonight.
Right.
So
actually, yeah.
Holly was like, "Well, I'll just make gummies tonight." And I'm like, you know what? That's the last time I made gummies on Livestream. I fucked them up.
Well, because we made them without. You didn't tell me we were doing it live.
Hey, I'm a guy. I don't,
It was during when the pandemic started and we did our 420 Connect. So I mean, I was just trying to get cameras right, but
I remember. I remember.
My camera won't focus. I might just head into that room. Well, you kind of talk about why gummies are the basics.
Why don't you head to the kitchen and try and get that camera activated? Yeah. And we'll do that. So,
all right.
It's like when Holly says gummies are one of the basics. Gummies are one of the first things that most new medical cannabis DIYers want to learn to do. It might be our biggest, thanks, love. It might be our biggest question, but we've certainly had it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And so it's kind of a staple in the medical cannabis DIY toolbox, if you will. Now, having said that, I don't really make gummies myself. I have made them for my granddaughter, and I'll talk about that.
But I do. Think I'm in here.
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah,
there you go.
All right, I'm gonna do something about that.
Are you ready to start, Holly?
I think so.
Okay. So, Holly, we're looking at your midsection and the pot. There you go. Now we can see your face.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to kind of start you out here. This is basically all you need to make gummies is some heat, some gummy materials, water, and some molds. So I was just going to kind of go through the generals of it. A lot of people think it's like very complicated. Yeah, keep come on around. Mike's picking up the camera. He's my cameraman tonight. So
I know Mike is running the camera locally, so this will be fun.
Yeah. This is basically just JELLO, what you make a Jello mix out of. Some flavored, they have cherry, lime, and this is gelatine. And this is an unflavored little packet. I buy them in the packets because they're measured already. They come in individual packets, but you can buy them in like a jar too. So this is actual unflavored gelatin. It's very vital to making the gummies. Now, we always talk about trying this in like a virgin batch. So this would be literally all you need to put in these gummy molds is some water, the actual flavoring. Actually, don't even need the flavoring, and the gelatin itself. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and mix this up in this Pirate's glass. So I'll do the gelatin first. So I'm putting it in 2/3 cups of water, which is also 180 milliliters. And this is just tap water, but you can use juice or bottled water or really anything else with flavor in it too.
Yeah, if you want to really add flavor, then you could use a fruit juice for the liquid instead of water.
Yeah, you could use like an orange juice or
apple juice.
You know, in fact, sometimes I add Kool-Aid also. But I want to stir this very well because you'll kind of notice it's still a little lumpy and some of it's not really mixed too well, but you don't want to go crazy. What I'm going to do now is this needs to bloom, which I call it stewing in its own juices. But basically the water needs to kind of get soaked into the gelatin.
When you said that earlier, you and I both fucking cracked the hell up like 5 minutes.
Because I can never remember the name bloom. I always think, well, it's just got to soak, but that's not it. So blooming, you'll see somebody mention that. It's basically going to sit here and absorb the water better. But
blooming the Jello is like a chemical process that you need to do before you add any heat.
Yeah. See how liquid this is? This has been blooming for like an hour. You can see it's starting to set already.
It will get a set type consistency if it's bloomed properly.
Much like it's making Jello. So anyway, that's our Martha Stewart. Like this is what happened later, but I have to let this sit, and so this is a great time to go ahead and figure out what kind of cannabis you're going to be putting in
Right.
I went ahead and brought my candle warmer in here, but I have Fico that I made myself. I also have CBD concentrate, which can be put into gummies. I have CBD coconut oil, but I'm going to go ahead and make this run THC gummies. So I make little coconut oil cubes, and I just go ahead and store them because to me that is kind of a quick way to get some kind of infused oil. So this is some trim that I made with regular coconut oil, and I'm just warming it up right now so that I can add some THC Fico. Now, another thing that I'm going to add, because I'm making gummies and I want this oily mixture to basically blend with a water-based gummy mixture, I'm going to add sunflower lecithin.
Okay.
And that is an emulsifier. Do we want to talk a little bit about why we add that? I mean, a big reason I add that is to keep all of the dosages consistent, because it tends to keep everything even in the whole mixture if you stir it in well. That's one of my reasons.
And it helps keep the oil bound to the water and the sugar molecules that's already in the mixture. It's a binding agent. It holds everything together. If you forget that, I guarantee you, if you scroll the group, you'll find, why did my gummies separate?
Right.
Why are they oily and things like that?
I use lecithin for many, many different kinds of recipes too. I also use it in a lot of topicals so that all the ingredients stay equally mixed in some of the oilier topicals. So I use it so much, I literally just suck up multiple bits of it in syringes so that I can dose out small amounts for something like this.
Now
So
that looks like a bottle of liquid lecithin, is it?
It is.
Okay.
And this syringe, I actually is just lecithin also. I basically make these so that I can dose out like 1 milliliter at a time, or
so
2 milliliters.
Can you get a close-up? Can you get a close-up view of your beaker on the heat warmer, please?
Oh yeah, yeah. So right here, is basically the coconut oil that I had infused before with my starter oil.
Right.
And it's melting because I've had this thing already warmed. This is my THC Fico that I'm going to be putting in here once it gets warmed. And this is my sunflower lecithin, and I'm just going to put like 2 milliliters in. So, because I'll be stirring.
So while you're doing that, let me just throw a little different shade on this real quickly, because in a glass just like that, I could take